Hey, 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 happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Monday, April 26th, 2021. This is live stream 654 of the show. If this is your first time visiting, feel free, kick back, put your feet up, relax. We are not taking part in rocket surgery here by any stretch of the imagination. Just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and sharing an unboxing and first look at the Ratcatcher, which is from Platypus Industries. We're going to be taking a look at this a little bit later on in the show. But do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch airs live Monday through Thursdays right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos such as my recent review of, in magnificent style, the deluxe edition from Worthington Publishing. And I've got other goodies on the horizon as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, because this is a live stream, it also means that chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or you might want to have a question or comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So first out the gate tonight, saying hello, is the Madman. Yes, the Motor City Madman's with us. He is one of our chat moderators. Clint Gibson is with us. Flaming Huron, our other chat moderator, is with us as well. So very cool, very cool. So Flaming Huron's like, geez, the Madman and Clint must be sitting there all ready when the stream goes live. Well, I have to admit, we have one person who, when they're able to watch the show live, they tend to show up a few minutes before the stream starts so that they're first out the gate. Anyway, welcome aboard, everybody. Long day today. Long day. So if you follow the Gaming Gang, if you watch these live streams, you know my Uncle Jimmy had passed away, and today was the funeral. And if you are familiar with the Irish wakes and Irish funerals, are very similar. So I've had a few. So don't worry, I'm not in the bag, but I've had a few. Anyway, so got a lot cooking tonight. Got a lot of news. We got some cool things we're going to look at with the Ratcatcher. I have been really looking forward to checking this game out. So I have actually, I was tempted over the weekend to bust this thing open and take a peek, but I did not. I saved it. I saved it for the unboxing. Plus a few changes as far as what's going on with what we're taking a peek at this week on the Dispatch as well. So Flaming Huron says that I'm beloved. Okay. Yes, everything went fine. Everything was fine. The madman says they've been to a couple of Irish wakes. Surprised to see me tonight. Can I tell you, I'm Irish. I can sock things away. Not as much as I once did, because I spent about 10 years on the other side of a bar. So yes, usually bartenders can knock it away as well. So anyway, hopefully everybody's having a good night. Melwinius from York has just popped in as well. So let's jump on into the news. Let's get things cooking. Let me grab a sip here. And yes, it is only Diet Coke that I am drinking. In fact, I think it's, what is it? 0 sugar Diet Coke. It was on sale, so that's why I picked up. I tend to like my Pepsi Max, but that hasn't been on sale lately, and I can't pay $2 for a 2-liter bottle of soda. I just can't. It's beyond me. All right, let's jump on into the news, because arriving this fall from Flatout Games and AEG is Cascadia. Here's the latest. Take a journey to the Pacific Northwest as you compete. Oh, it's going to be like this, is it? My gosh, I can't even get the word compete out. I don't know. I don't know. Clint says Pepsi Blue May 3rd. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what Pepsi Blue is going to be. Anyway, let's try that again. Take a journey to the Pacific Northwest as you compete to create the most harmonious ecosystem in Cascadia. Turns are simple. Select a tile/token set and place each into your expanding ecosystem. Earn points by fulfilling wildlife goals and creating the largest habitat corridors. With variable scoring goals, each game of Cascadia brings a new spatial puzzle to your table. Cascadia is a puzzly tile-laying game featuring the habitats and wildlife of the Pacific Northwest. In Cascadia, players take turns building their terrain and populating it with wildlife. Players must create a diverse and harmonious ecosystem. Each animal species has a different spatial preference, and each habitat must be placed to reduce fragmentation and create wildlife corridors. Cascadia is a tile and token drafting game for 1 to 4 players. It involves a dual layer puzzle that progresses over time as more habitats and wildlife are added to each player's individual ecosystem. Players score points by creating the most harmonious spatial arrangements of wildlife, and also by creating the largest contiguous habitat corridors. Cascadia is actually the second Flatout Games collab game. Like its predecessor, Calico, it is a puzzly hex-based tile-laying game with interwoven puzzle elements. Although Cascadia's rules are as simple as pick one, place one, the game offers multiple layers of modularity and challenging decision-making to keep even the most seasoned gamers coming back for more. Cascadia is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes. It is going to carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it arrives in October. Sweet, just in time for my birthday. I really enjoyed Calico. I like that game. I think it's a lot of fun. My mom really enjoyed that game, even though she didn't win the few games we've played. She did like it. So there we go. So Melwinia says cola whiskey here, but it's also 2 a.m. and they don't have to work tomorrow. Ay. So Clint says the biggest love of the summer of 2004 was Pepsi Blue. Yeah, but wouldn't that just be regular Pepsi? I don't know. I always thought Pepsi was, I think Blue Label for Pepsi. So Disavowed says Calico was really good and they hate cats. Well, I will not let Pinky and Smokey know that Disavowed 92 does not like cats. Actually, hates cats. I grew up hating cats myself, but ended up with one that I wasn't expecting. And after that, I was like, you know what? They're okay. I like cats. All right, let's move on to the next news piece because following a successful Kickstarter, Gap Closer Games is releasing Rival Restaurants. Here's what I know. Your goal in Rival Restaurants is to be the first restaurant to get 20 popularity points and be crowned the wiener. Get it? Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Players earn popularity points by buying and trading for ingredients and using them to cook complete recipes. The more advanced the recipe, the more points it's worth. Each day, players move through 3 phases. Money and move to begin. Players collect their income for the day and decide where they want to move. Turn economy is crucial as players are not permitted to move for the rest of the day once their location has been chosen. Second is buy and barter. Players have 1 minute to buy as much as they want, but only from the location they're in. Players can also barter or trade with anyone in the game, just not people in their location. And finally, there is cook and counter. Any player who has the ingredients required for their recipe can cook it and collect those precious popularity points. In addition, each player controls a chef equipped with their own chef power. Chef powers are asymmetrical and allow players to bend the rules in their favor. The base game of Rival Restaurants has 12 chefs, and additionally, at the beginning of the game, each player must choose a restaurant to play, with each restaurant having a unique level up structure with rewards for reaching 3, 7, and 12 popularity points. Lastly, players can also choose to buy action cards, that is, development cards that are typically good for a one-time use. Rival Restaurants is for 2 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, plays in 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49 when it starts arriving in stores very shortly. So I have conflicting information about this game. I have seen some places saying that it's available now, although you can't order it. And then I have also seen distributors saying that it is arriving next week. So I don't know. But I thought I'd share this. This looks kind of interesting, especially for those out there who are big foodie fans. So they might get a kick out of that. So there is some discussion of cats and booze together. Two great tastes in one. So Melwinius is talking about scotch and cupper lime and ginger and green tea and cola. That seems like a lot of work for a drink. Disavowed 92 says they are deathly allergic to cats. The madman points out that they never liked cats until they rescued 3 kittens from his yard, and that changed the whole opinion. Yeah, funny story. I think I may have actually mentioned this sometime over the previous 650 odd live streams. I was not a fan of cats. My family was not. We were always dog people. And I remember I was in high school, and one of my friends, Tim Phelan, who was part of the Gaming Guild. Remember, we've talked about my high school gaming friends, of which my best friend, Elliot Miller, was one. And I remember we were over there, and he had, I think, if I remember right, I think he had 2 cats. And one of the cats was just jet black. Cat was called named Midnight, and I'll never forget. The cat woke me up one night. It was up on my chest and was kind of doing the little pad thing, right? Which I thought, oh, that's okay, and then proceeded to pee on me, and I was like, Okay, now we're not friends. So it was like, ah. Sarah D is with us. Sarah says, yeah, just give me the whiskey straight. Don't go through all those different mixers and that. Just maybe a little ice. Toss a little ice in there. I am not a whiskey fan, to be very honest. And it's funny because I am half Irish. McAleer, I don't know what gave that away. I am more a vodka drinker. I have always been more of a vodka, sometimes tequila. All depends. Depends on what I'm having. Today I was drinking vodka and cranberry with a slice of orange is what I asked for. I'm not a big lime fan. Okay, so, and the madman says they're a bourbon fan. I have not drank a lot of bourbon over the years. A little bit of whiskey. I'm not a Scotch fan, especially really peaty Scotch. Yeah, not my bag of tricks. All right. Over the weekend, Worthington Publishing launched a Kickstarter for a trio. That's right. 3 games, which are going to be known as the Great Siege series. Here's the scoop. Now available for crowdfunding are 414 BC, the Siege of Syracuse, 1565, Siege of Malta, and 1759, Siege of Quebec. The Great Sieges game series highlights command decisions for players against a solitaire game engine opponent. They've been designed for easy setup and quick gameplay. Game unit placement is shown on the game board, and units are wooden markers representing the troop and ship formations. Each game was developed for solitaire play. In 414 BC, Siege of Syracuse, and 1759, Siege of Quebec, there's also a 2-player version of the game. Both sides require you to make great decisions based on good strategy, to keep your wits about you when orders do not turn out well, and to hopefully press on to victory. All 3 games use a common set of rules for gameplay, but each also has its own unique set of rules related to specifics of those individual sieges. First off, we've got 414 BC, Siege of Syracuse. The Athenian player must keep up attacks and deal with Syracusan reinforcements that come into play. They must also construct siege walls to choke off the city and fend off counterattacks by the city army. As Syracuse builds counter walls, the Athenian must destroy them if he expects to encircle the city. The Syracusan side is playing for time, must defend the city against attacks by land and sea. Its forces must sally out of the city to drive the morale of the Athenian side down. Further, as the progress of siege walls is advanced by the Athenian side, Syracuse has the ability to build counter walls to slow down the progress. Then we've got 1565 Siege of Malta. As the Muslim Turks, you must win the game if the knight's morale is driven to 0, or all 3 of the fort locations have been cleared of knight troops. As the Christian knight player, you win the game if the Turks' morale is 0, or if you can hold out until the siege ends. Both sides have elite units that can affect battle results with die rerolls. These are limited, so deciding when to use them is important. The siege in 1565. Wow, I was doing so well with all those years, too. The siege in 1565 was during the early days when gunpowder came into use. Each side has very limited use of gunpowder for musketry, which can help their odds of success. The Turks also have limited gunpowder for artillery. While in supply, they can bombard the Malta forts. The Turks also have a siege tower they can use. This game you can play solitaire as either the Muslims or the Christians. Then we have 1759 Siege of Quebec. Included with this are a new art style for the game board and cards, new rules and game pieces for artillery, new white French and red British brown Indian pieces as well. There's updated rules. You can play solitaire as the French or British, and there's also a 2-player version as well. Anytime one side morale reaches 0 during a turn, the other side wins the game. Also, the French win if they hold out until the British Navy departs, and the British can win by taking Quebec. There is a short Kickstarter video, give you a little more detail, show you a few more images of the 3 games from Worthington Publishing. So let's take a peek. You can reserve a copy of one of the games for a $59 pledge, 2 of the games for a $109 pledge, or score all 3 for a $149 pledge. If I remember correctly, I think this is only running through May 8th. It's only a 2-week Kickstarter. Expected delivery on the 3 games is this October. So Melwinius asks, Syracuse, isn't that the battle at the beginning of the second 300 movie with Themistocles leading the charge? I got to be honest, I don't know, because I never saw the second 300 movie. I heard it was god awful. So I did not see that. So Melwinius says, no, it was Marathon. That would make sense, because wasn't it the Battle of Marathon that 300 kind of ended at? That's what they were sort of kind of talk. Yeah, I mean, they were implying that was the battle that was coming up. I thought that was it. I thought that was Marathon. But yes, the Peloponnesian War is very interesting. It's like, or that during that period is very interesting, because sometimes the Athenians are just like, oh, wow, you guys, somebody's got to put you in your place. And then other times you're looking at Sparta and you're like, oh, for crying out loud, somebody needs to put you people in your place. So there's never any like cut and dried, like faction that you're rooting for, at least for me. They were both truly at fault with the Peloponnesian War. So, all right, let's move on to some role-playing game news, because Flying Buffalo Games has released a PDF that is perfect as an introduction to the classic Tunnels and Trolls role-playing game. Here is the skinny on the beginner's bundle to Tunnels and Trolls. Want to learn Tunnels and Trolls? Start here. The TNT beginner's bundle. It's 52 pages and all in full color. Not sure where to start with Tunnels and Trolls? This special beginner's bundle includes an introduction to the world's second oldest role-playing game, including a TNT Basics article, the TNT Mini Rules, pre-roll characters, special charts to help players and game masters while playing as well. There's also a special section on how to create your own Game Master adventures with a pre-made map and tips and tools to help you learn how to be a good game master so you can run your own adventures. We're also including a new Tunnels and Trolls solo adventure, Journey to Buffalo Island, and a Game Master adventure, Tomb of Caris, plus a map of Troll World and the continent of Mainland, where you can set your own adventures and a few other helpful extras. You can score this 52-page full-color PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG for $5.95. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. I had actually floated out a tweet yesterday asking people if they would like to see me, which would they rather see me do a review of? Mutant Crawl Classics or Tunnels and Trolls? We will talk about that when I finish up the news. A Gray Day has joined us. He is hanging out. A Gray Day says, I know why Dan isn't here. Dan from No Enemies Here says every Monday he does a show with Ardwolf. Yeah, but Dan's never here for any of the shows anymore. So I don't know. It's not something I concern myself with, to be honest. I mean, I like Dan. Dan's a nice enough guy, but he doesn't watch the stream anymore. Maybe he was told by the powers that be that he couldn't hang out here because I swear from time to time. Never know. Anyway, good to see you, Great A. Glad to have you swinging on into chat. All right, my final news piece, now available from Weird Age Games, is Hardwired Island. I got the dope. The year is 2020. Yes, you heard that correctly. Humanity is spread to space. Grand Cross is a space station orbiting Earth, a high-tech city, and a gateway to the stars. But in this distant future, which would also, guess, be our past, it's in crisis. Hardwired Island is a retro future cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game inspired by 90s anime. This 397-page PDF includes an easy-to-learn system where social actions and problem-solving skills are at least as important as hacking and getting into fights. There's a shorter player reference document for quick rule access. It's an alternate 2020 setting in an O'Neill cylinder near Earth. Descriptions of many areas of the Grand Cross, from the busy downtown Voyager ward to the high-tech parkland of Mariposa to the agriculture ring that feeds the station. Includes 6 occupations, including the fixer, the hacker, the influencer, along with a plethora of character options. There's over 100 detailed NPC descriptions, from corporate heavyweights to android crime lords to just regular citizens in an Earth orbit city. It's a flexible mission prep system that allows characters to adapt their plans on the fly without wasting their earlier efforts. It includes a wealth system that tracks the financial burdens placed on you by the capitalist system you live in, as well as a cybernetic system that doesn't dehumanize you for installing augments. Plus, a lot of great art from a lot of great artists. Hardwired Island system uses 6-sided dice. The system includes rules and unique actions for social situations, stealth, hacking, and conflict. Each player has one or more occupations which define how your character solves problems. The fixer, the hacker, the influencer, the operator, the soldier, the street fighter, and the thief each have their own unique abilities. Instead of wealth, characters track their burden, which represents how comfortably they can live on Grand Cross. Between missions, characters can suffer an economic shock that affects how well they can perform. Higher burdens risk more frequent shocks. Before missions, characters create a pool of points called prep, which can be spent later on items, flashbacks, and other bonuses. This flexible system allows characters to adapt and change their plans on the fly without wasting their earlier efforts. Characters can install cybernetic augments to improve themselves at the cost of increasing their burden. Cosmetic and medical augments are free. So if you just want to have cat ears or a cyber arm without any bonuses, go for it. You can even replace your body with a full body prosthetic. Further rules allow characters to grow and call on a community of side characters during play, or they can make a little extra side cash with a gig work app. This 397-page PDF of Hardwired Island is available right now at DriveThruRPG for $30. There we go. So Great Ace says, final, short on news. I had 5 news pieces. It's like, a Great Ace showed up late. What do you want me to do? It's like, that was 5. This looks kind of interesting. I thought the art style looked pretty cool. We'll mention 397-page PDF, $30. It's getting it's where it's keep saying I keep trying to talk to people about, hey, you know what I think companies should start doing? I think companies should start looking at hanging on to their PDFs, making sure the physical books come out first. And that way they will probably charge less for their PDFs. That's just mine. All right. So Gary Clarkson is Glary. Jeez. Gary Clarkson has arrived in chat. Good to see you, Gary. Glad to see you made it. Well, the show was going. Well, it was on. So Great Ace talking about the Cyberpunk Red miniature game from Monster Fight Club. I assume that's also from Artel Saurian Games. I assume if it's Cyberpunk Red. All righty. Anyway, so that is the news tonight. So as I mentioned, yesterday, I posted on Twitter. I said, hey, which would you rather see me do a review of? Mutant Crawl Classics or Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls? And it is kind of neck and neck right now. I was kind of surprised because Mutant Crawl Classic kind of came out just guns blazing. People are like, MCC, please. But TNT has kind of caught up. Although, strangely enough, I did not realize that Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls is sold out everywhere. Guess maybe I should have looked into that before I said, hey, what would you like to see me review? This game I can't get a hold of? Or this game? So I have actually, I have floated out an offer on eBay for a copy of Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls, the last edition that came out. We'll see if the seller takes it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But I got to be honest. I think I'm going to review both because I did put an order in through Amazon for Mutant Crawl Classics. So I had gotten a $25 gift card. I was like, well, I'll use that. And it's only, I think, another $7, including shipping, for me to get it. And I think it's showing up on Wednesday. So kind of cool. I had placed the order for the Dungeon Crawl Classics starter set, the, what do they call it? First time fan kit on the 17th. Still have heard nothing. I have been going back and forth with Jess, who is their customer service rep. But I got to be honest, I'm getting the feeling that I am getting the runaround because it was basically, I did not, I'll real quickly kind of tell the story. And I'm not trying to knock, I'm not going to rip on Goodman Games because I've read the PDF of the core book. I'm ready to do a review of the core book. I will let you in and tell you, I like the core book. So it's going to get a positive review. It's going to get a recommendation. But I placed my order, and like many places, I didn't necessarily want to set up an account to place my order. So it allowed me as a guest to place my order through PayPal. And I said, okay, great. I don't have to sit here and fill out all the shipping information, nothing. I just, boom. And then days and days went by. First of all, I got an email within a few hours saying, hey, we got your order. Here are the links to download the PDFs. They were complimentary. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's how I've already read the core rule book. And it said, oh, and our goblins are hard at work. They're going to be putting together your order. And then I heard nothing. I mean, not zero, nothing about, hey, your order's shipped. Here's your tracking number, nothing. So last Thursday, I reached out to their info at Goodman Games. And I said, what's going on with this order? And their customer service person got back to me and they said, well, did you set up an account? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I didn't set up an account. Said, oh, do me a favor, set up an account. And that way I can make sure that you get the PDFs and that. I already had the PDFs. So I went, created an account, emailed back. I said, okay, the account's done. It's all set up. And then she created like a new order for the PDFs. And then I heard nothing again. And I was like, okay, so what's going on here? It's like, so and I even emailed back I think this was, this would have been Saturday. I had emailed their customer service person and said, what's going on here? Because I kind of get the feeling that if I hadn't said anything about this order that was paid through PayPal, nobody would be doing anything. Like I wouldn't get this. And I got an email back saying, oh, no, it's being taken care of. And still nothing. Still absolutely nothing. I got an email today saying, well, I'm going to check with the warehouse, see what's going on with that order. I've had stuff that I've ordered from Europe during the height of the pandemic get processed faster than this order has. So I don't know. I have no idea. But the funny thing is, I would like to provide a very positive review for Dungeon Crawl Classics, but I'm telling you, it's getting to the point where it's like, man, I feel like I'm getting the runaround here. So Grey Day says they've never had any problems ordering from Goodman. Yeah, I just thought it was weird. I thought it was very, very weird. I think basically what they probably need to do is make sure that you cannot place an order without creating an account. I think that was maybe what it was. So Grey Day says COVID's created lots of shipping and order issues across the gamut. Not now. Not anymore. No. And this is not coming from Europe. This is coming from California. So I don't believe that. No, that is not the case. I could understand when we were, hey, and I am not saying that we are like out of this pandemic, because we are certainly not. In fact, we're on the precipice of maybe getting really bad again, but I don't know. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, they don't think that you can use that as an excuse anymore. Like I said, I have no idea. All I'm pointing out is I placed an order on the 17th. I got the PDFs that night, but that was not what I ordered. I ordered the physical first-time fan kit with the dice and all the other stuff so I could share a review with everybody. So as a reviewer who very rarely purchases stuff, I mean, that's just how it is, right? I don't have the funds to be sitting there going, oh, yeah, $200 for Car Wars from Steve Jackson Games. Sure, why not? I'll go do that. I'll order that. That's something else I have not ordered it. Don't get me wrong, but that's a Kickstarter. I'm not sure what's going on with, because I don't think you could still place an order for it, like on a pledge manager, but we hear nothing about when it ships out. So I don't know. Hey, all right. So Anyway, so Grade A says in their industry that involves acquisitions and material movement, it is still very much true. Yes. So a Grade A says the U.S. Post Office is terrible. Yes, I agree. I completely understand. Problem is, it's not shipped out. It has not been sent. I could understand if it was mailed out, and yeah, especially when they do the media mail because it's books and some dice, which to be honest, they shouldn't be sending it media mail, but it might go out that way. I know media mail takes a long, long time to receive stuff, but do want to mention I will have Mutant Crawl Classics soon. I'll have that sooner than Dungeon Crawl Classics, and I ordered that a week later. So I don't know, and we'll see. We'll see about Tunnels and Trolls as well. So we'll see. I want to throw some love out to some of these other role playing games out there. All right. Anyway, so that is it for the news tonight. So we are going to be taking a look at the Ratcatcher in just a moment. If you're watching live, we're going to dive in just a few seconds. If you are watching after the fact, like 12 hours after the stream ends, you will see an advertisement. So just bear with it. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at the Ratcatcher, which is from Platypus Industries. They are out of Australia. It is designed by Matthew Aslan, who also provided the artwork for the game. This is a solitaire game for ages 12 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes. As far as I understand, and I might be off base on this, but I have seen online stores saying that the game carries an MSRP of $45 for the core game. I have seen conflicting information, right? So I have seen online retailers say MSRP of $45, so that means they're selling it for a little bit less. And then I've seen it carries an MSRP of $69. So I don't know. I believe it's the 45. Without all the Kickstarter goodies that we are going to be taking a look at, which are from Platypus Industries. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Ratcatcher. So this is a pretty good sized box here. I would say a little narrower than a shoebox, but about the same length. So let's get rid of the shrink wrap here. So we are going to take a look to see what's in the core game, and I am also going to share with you some of the cool stuff that was also sent along, which are Kickstarter extras that can also be purchased at the Platypus Industries site. So in the kingdom of Brie, an irresistible magic cheese lures visitors from across the lands. But unwittingly, it has also caught the attention of a horde of ravenous rats. Now the kingdom is about to be overrun by rodents. You are the Ratcatcher, the only person in Brie capable of stopping the approaching plague and returning peace to the kingdom. You must use your skills, bravery, and cunning to defeat the rat army, but beware. The rats are beginning to change, and it's not for the better. Hurry! All right, so let's see what we've got. So that I believe this is a box that you put together because it even says rat cage. To construct it, see the instructions, and it's wrapped in a little thing of shrink wrap, and we got the instructions on the back. So we're going to put that together. I will zoom in so we can get a look at some of the stuff as we go through towards the end, because there are some really cool looking rat like tokens, rat meeples, sort of. So here we got the rule book. The rule book actually seems like it's got a good number of pages here. So we've got the game contents, the tale so far. I believe you get to play different kind of characters. I don't think you're just the same exact character throughout. And of course, I think this cheese is like radioactive or something. So it's mutating the rats. There is a little upgrade pack that has some tokens for the other rats. So I don't know if those rats are included in the game and we just have extra tokens, or if the expansion just has completely new like boss rats is what I'm kind of thinking it is. So we got the setup, talking about gameplay. So we see the township. So it appears that you kind of build the town with these various different tiles. I think they're tiles. I don't think they're cards. So with different areas of the town that you're fighting the rats, I should say. So we've got the Ratcatchers talking about the character board setup. So we've got attack, movement, traps, accuracy. We've got defense and health. And we got some upgrades as well. Talking about some special abilities. Telling us what we can do on our turn. Talking about deploying our traps and attacking, special abilities, collecting cheese. And then we have the tally man. So we got township cards. Oh, maybe they are cards. Maybe they're not tiles. So then we got the different kinds of rats. So on the rat's turn, which is an AI turn, they move, they trigger traps, they bite, they eat, they spawn. Yeah, that's certainly what rats do. And now here's the peculiar rats. So we spawn peculiar rats. Talking about moving them, targeting them, capturing them. Got some examples of the peculiar rats as well. Then we have nemesis rats. These must be the big bads, the big boss rats. And it's talking about spawning them. And talking about a hard mode. If you need more of a challenge, try the hard mode setup, which says on the reverse side of the starting township card, you'll find the hard mode setup. Cool. Nice. The artwork's got kind of a kind of oddball sort of like plague era style to it. All right, so we've got some cards here. We've got some cubes. We have some cheese. Got a bunch of dice. We've got this cool insert. So we got a bit of an insert here. Pull that up. We got some tokens. Looks like these are our rat catchers. Wow, got quite a few. These boards are pretty thick. All right, so we got some brown rat tokens. I'm not sure. Maybe those are like boss rats. We have the various regular different rats. Man says, looks like blue cheese to me. And a Grade A had pointed out that the production quality looks nice. Yeah, and then we got this cool draw bag. This is actually a very nice draw bag here. Not like some that not that usually the draw bags in games are nice, but this one's especially nice. Just the material of it is very, very nice. And look at the drawstrings and everything. So, all right. So we've got that. So we've got the cheese. And it's kind of translucent a little bit. We've got the various different colored cubes. So Grady says, we've got that game Ratus. And his kids always commented on the plague subject of the game. I mean, that is how the plague spread. through the rats carrying the fleas. All right, we'll take a closer look at these because I actually have more of these that were part of the, I guess, the Kickstarter extras. So we'll take a peek at those when I take a look at that. And then, of course, we've got 6-sided dice, which kind of have this mouse gray to them. So that's kind of funny. So Melwinius is asking if Radis is the game that's tied to the Pied Piper of Hamelin story, which is actually really bizarre. I mean, if you think about it. And the weirdest thing about the Pied Piper is, that story has to be based on some sort of factual event, because there's things like historically that tie into it. So I think that's kind of weird. All right, so I'm going to close that up for right now. Let's why don't we zoom in, because we have looked at the rule book. So we'll get a better look at this here. So we got the very various different tokens. So yes, Ring Around the Rosie, which is about the plague, about the Black Death, which, if I remember correctly, they didn't call it the Black Death. They didn't call it the plague. I think if I remember correctly, at the time, they called it the Great Pestilence, is what it was referred to by, contemporary reports. I listened to a very interesting, it wasn't an audiobook, it was a lecture series about the middle plagues in the Middle Ages and that. It was very, very interesting. Very, it's creepy too. All right, so we got those. So let's see who we have here. So we're talking about the Pied Piper. So, of course, the Pied Piper is one of our rat catchers, one of our heroes here. So you can also see that this is cut, this is recessed. So you can drop in your cubes here. It's like you collect your cheese throughout here. So we've got the Pied Piper, and then we've got a bit of a story about the Pied Piper. And here it says the Pied Piper is a woman. It says she is the royal family's most trusted rat catcher among the middle class, or upper class, I should say. So there we go. So there's the Pied Piper right there. Next up, we have Professor Joom. So that's another of the rat catchers here. So we see they've got their special abilities here. So we've got fumigation and just a spritz. That's pretty cool. The recessed, the cut board here. And the way they've got it is that if you put where you put the cube, it's going to stay in place. There's some of these, and these actually have little, I almost want to say a little outcropping here that's going to keep the dice in place. Because one thing I noticed I like the way that they do these kind of recessed boards, but a lot of times there's nothing to separate them. So if it gets bumped, somehow gets bumped, everything gets moved all over the place. So this looks like these will stay in place pretty nicely. So we got the professor. We have Madame Cage. It's like she uses a variety of different traps. Like I said, this artwork is very cool. I like the artwork. And it actually, it's not 3D, but I noticed that this artwork kind of pops off these boards pretty nicely. Kind of jumps out at you. All right, next we've got Sister Constantine. So we have a nun fighting off the rats. So we got that. We have the Guildmaster Horace. With a peg leg. So Grady says that China Mieville, I forget how you pronounce his last name. I have read some of his stuff. has done a Pied Piper inspired book. That's kind of cool. So we got Miss Black. We actually have a couple more. So we've got the Maw. So this is a nemesis rat. Okay, so that was those were the last of our hunters. So do we have 6 of them? Yep, we have 6. Hey, not too bad. I mean, it's a solitaire game. You got 6 different characters to choose from. So we have the Maw as a nemesis rat. We've got the Abyssal rat. Then we have the Brood Mother. And the Rat King. As a Great 8 said earlier, King Rat. Well, here you go. Here's King Rat right there. But yes, this is very nice component quality as well here. All right, so once again, this is the box that I think you put the rat tokens in. So you're going to put that together. Flip it around, show you. Just like so. It's a little box. All right, so we've got these rats. I think these are the nemesis rats. And these almost feel like they're plastic. They don't necessarily feel like wood. Zoom all the way in. All right, yeah, it looks like that's in focus for us as well. So these are our 4 nemesis rats that are I guess, our big bad rats. And then these are our characters. Our tokens for the characters here. Get that out of the way. And these look like they're not stickers. They look like they're either laser printed or silk screened, because I know they sometimes will silk screen stuff onto these different tokens and that. So we've got that. So that's what's in the core game. Let me show you the stuff that came, just these extras. I got a bunch of pins. I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, look at all these pins. And I know there's some people who are really into collecting pins. So I got these 6 different pins that Platypus Games sent me. So I thought that was kind of cool. So Grade A says that it looks like they're screened. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think they looked laser printed, but yeah, I don't know. I don't make this stuff. So I'm not always positive how they've done it. I know they're not painted on. I can tell you they're not stickers. So I thought that was kind of funny. So we got those. All right. So I got an extra package of these rat tokens. So I'll show you what these look like, because they're actually rat shaped. We have various different colors. So we've got it's kind of an off-white. We've got the brown. We've got kind of a charcoal gray. I think those are the 3 colors that we've got. So there's a bunch more. So there's a bunch of extra rats that are available. There are extra cheese pieces. Although these are not translucent. These look like they're just opaque plastic or maybe wood. So we've got that. I thought this was kind of cool. So let's open it up. It's a dice tray. And it's made out of mouse material. So there you go. So we got the dice tray here. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. I like how these dice trays are made nowadays with the little snaps. And you just kind of snap them together like that. I like that. I think that's kind of cool. I've seen some, rather than snaps, they have little magnets So I thought that's kind of cool. So that's what it looks like when I take it apart, just like so. And then we have 12 peculiar rat tokens. So let's see what this looks like. Because we did not have, oh, look at that, another drawstring bag with the rats on it. So this is one thing that we did not see in, unless these are supposed to be a particular color of those other tokens we were looking at that have the rat shapes. But these look like these are all unique. These look all different. Just like so. And that's it. That's all that's in there. I thought maybe there'd be a card describing them or something, but there is not. So these are some of the Kickstarter extras that were available as well. So I'm really looking forward to checking this game out, because even when I did the news piece about it a few months back, I thought this looks really different, really interesting. So we've got all of these goodies. So we've got the 6 different characters. We got the 4 different Nemesis rats. We've got a punch board with some tokens. We've got the rule book. We have the various different rats inside here already. I put them back in, of the different colors. We have a really cool drawstring bag here. We got a bunch of dice as well. We've got the various different like boss rats that are available to us. And we've got the tokens for each of the 6 characters as well. And that's what we find when we take a peek at everything inside the box, as well as some of the Kickstarter extras for the Ratcatcher, which is from Platypus Industries. Once again, as I mentioned, oh, you know what? We didn't look at the cards. Hold on. We didn't look at the deck of cards, which I bet you this is where we get more info about those peculiar rats. So it looks like, do we all have the, nope, not the same. Okay, so here these have a rat backing to it. This has kind of an evil looking face. That has just a regular rat. This is telling us what we do on our turn and the rat's turn. We have some coins. Okay, so this is card 0. Card stock's decent. Oh, that's the hardcore start. These are tarot card sized. So we've got that. So it looks like you probably reach in the bag, put a rat there, 2 rats there, a piece of cheese. That'd be my guess. And then we have the signpost on, is that the rest of the cards? Yes. So you're going to probably build the town as you explore. You probably only have so many cards you're going to use. Kind of give us an idea here. Nice. This is kind of cool. An apothecary, maybe? Maybe it's a store we can buy stuff at. Maybe we can gain some health there. With the where the heart icon was. And it looks like you're just going to kind of lay them out like that. Say like so or like so. Because we see how it creates the arrows connecting. So that's what I'm going to take a guess at. All right. So all these cards. I would take a guess. You would probably be best suited if you went and got some tarot card size sleeves on this. Because the solitaire game, you're going to be messing around with these cards a lot. So I would definitely recommend sleeving these. So what do we have here? This looks like coins or something. The tally man. Okay, so paying the tally man. This one has a rat. So it talks about the common rats. So we got the white, the brown, and the gray. Then we have the gut tracker. So here's the rats. So we've got, okay, so here we go. These are the peculiar rats. So it's a good thing I actually looked at the cards, huh? The different kinds of rats. I wonder if some of the locations that have like the bigger rat symbol, like that, I wonder if those are supposed to be the peculiar rats. Maybe not. The filthy snitch. The golden fleeced rats. The rat of nine tails. And the mad ratta. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so now I can tell you that this is what we find when we're taking everything outside of the box for... All right, come on, focus. It's like, come on. Save a little autofocus. Yeah, this autofocus, it really leaves a lot to be desired with the Panasonic. Really does. I mean, it's a good camera. It's just the autofocus is just not very good. So if I'm doing if we're looking at a book, I swap out and just go with a manual lens because I'm like, okay, I can make sure that that's in focus. That's what's going to stick with. All right, so that is the Ratcatcher, which is from Platypus Industries. And once again, designed by Matthew Aslan, who also provided the artwork. This game does carry for the core game. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's carrying an MSRP of $45. It is available through various different online retailers right now. And of course, I will provide a review for the Ratcatcher in the very near future. So, a grade A is asking, end of the show question. There you go. What do I think is driving the all-in on Ravenloft products from Wizards of the Coast? Miniature sets, the redo set, more books. Do I think it's just because it sells well? Well, first of all, I think we know Wizards of the Coast is sitting there going, well, if it sells well, let's put more of it out there, right? So I do know that the new Ravenloft book that came, well, I mean, it's not so new now. It's been out more than a year, I believe. Did really well for them. It did really well. And I think we've talked before that as well as the adventure books sell for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, the player-facing books, the optional aspect books really, really do well for Wizards of the Coast. So, Grade A says it seems like they're just beating a dead horse because he has no interest in neither does anyone that he games with. I get it. I'll be the first one to point out, I don't have any great, like, nostalgic love for Ravenloft because I never played it. I never ran it, didn't play it. I was already well past D&D and really immersed in Call of Cthulhu by that time. I mention it all the time. As much as I like the old school Renaissance, and I have my, you see, I got my Dungeon Master's Guide, I got my Player's Handbook. But still, I didn't really play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons back in the day once I found Call of Cthulhu, and that was freshman year of high school. So I think it might be generational for some people. I know a lot of people who were playing D&D back at that time do say that some of the best adventure modules that came out during that period for Dungeons and Dragons were Ravenloft. That a lot of the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk or whatever was coming out, well, Dragonlance. I know there's, we've mentioned it before that people have this nostalgia for Dragonlance, but it's more like the books than it was for the actual role-playing adventures. So Melwania says, Ravenloft, go for 3rd edition or 2nd edition. I think it was 2nd edition that was more popular. I think 2nd edition did really, really well for TSR way back in the day. Do I think they're beating a dead horse? No, I don't really think so. I would like to see more releases for Dungeons and Dragons, and we have heard that will be the case, that we are going to see far more than 2 or 3 releases per calendar year for D&D. I just hope they're decent. I hope they're good. It was kind of funny because when I did my Candlekeep Mysteries review, I gave it a 7 out of 10. And I thought it was all right. I mean, there were some adventures there I thought were far better than others, but I thought it was, it was worth a purchase if you're into Dungeons and Dragons. And it was funny. I got emails from people. I think even somebody commented on the video saying, how could you give this a 7 or something like, was it 7 or 7.5? And it was very close to the same score that I gave Rime of the Frost Maiden. And I was like, what do you mean? How could I do this? It's like, you're acting like I'm saying, wow, this is fantastic. And everybody needs to buy this. It's like, I'm giving it like a 7 out of 10 saying, yeah, it's worth a purchase, but it's not fantastic. I don't know. I would say that, yeah, Wizards of the Coast is probably sitting there going, yeah, you know what? The chatter that we hear, through forums and things like that is everybody wants more Ravenloft. So they're going to provide some more Ravenloft. I know a lot of people out there are upset that we haven't seen, like Dark Sun. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen the, gosh, I forget, Al-Qadim or whatever it was called, the Middle Eastern setting. Haven't seen that. We don't have Planescape. We don't have Spelljammer. I know a lot of people are, everybody's got their favorite. If they were playing Dungeons and Dragons back at that time. So if people had fond memories of playing Dark Sun adventures, then they all want Dark Sun. They all have fond memories of Spelljammer, then they're like, oh, how come we can't get Spelljammer? I got to be honest, I was very surprised Eberron got a book because I didn't hear anybody clamoring for Eberron, but I don't know. So Grade A says that they've only run Princes of the Apocalypse, and Storm King. I got to be honest, I never saw Storm King's Thunder, so I did not get a chance to review it. But Princes was like, I don't know. I don't think 5th edition is really strong. Tomb of Annihilation, I think, is really good. I think that is a really good book. Of course, once again, I say it all the time. There's nothing I have ever read as far as an adventure that I would run as written. There are some things in Tomb of Annihilation, especially the hook. Do not like the hook. You could get a way better hook to get the player characters on board with going to, what is it, Cholt? Is that? I read so many of these things. In fact, before I wrap up, I should tell you what's on the horizon for this week, right? So I got some goodies in the mail over the weekend. You might remember, now I'm not going to do an unboxing video. I will shoot a review video for it. So Clint says Eberron was a contest winner. I thought maybe, I don't know. If I were Wizards of the Coast, I would not be running contests to determine what I'd be publishing, though. So, Disavowed was talking about some setting. Oh, Dark Sun and Al Qadim, I guess I was right, were his jam for a bit back in the day. Also played a lot of Gamma World. We're going to wrap up in a minute, but one thing I want to point out, I have a soft spot for Gamma World. And a lot of people don't realize that the first edition of Gamma World wasn't as wacky and gonzo as people think when they think of Gamma World. First edition really wasn't. I mean, it was science fiction-y, post-apocalyptic, but it wasn't totally wacky. I guess I wouldn't say wacky, but everybody always thinks Gamma World, gonzo, weird mutated creatures and all this other stuff, which is great. I get a kick out of that. That's one of the reasons why I want to do the review for Mutant Crawl Classics. But I think a lot of people don't, same like first edition Boot Hill. First edition Boot Hill was not a very big rule book. If I remember right, it might have been 40 pages, if even that. And first edition Boot Hill was more of a simulation of gunfights in that. There wasn't a lot of role playing stuff in first edition Boot Hill. So great. It says Zardots and Gamma World, Sean Connery in a furry bikini. Yeah, that is a bizarre movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just a bizarre movie. Anyway, so I got a copy of Unforgiven, the Lincoln assassination trial. And I did a Kickstarter preview of this. Really liked it a lot. So I did not really do a review per se. It was a Kickstarter preview. I am going to share a review of this. It will be in the near future. So from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment, I received the print edition of Death on the Reich, which is actually upstairs. I was actually reading it in the car today. I also got the Death on the Reich companion. So I don't think I'm going to do page throughs for these. I think I'll just do reviews because I have read them both. Anyway, so that is some stuff to keep an eye out for. On tomorrow's show, I am going to unbox and take a first look at Monster Expedition from Amigo Games. Then on Wednesday, we're going to do a War Game Wednesday again. I am going to unbox and take a first look at the French and Indian War, which is from Worthington Publishing. And then on Thursday, I know I originally said we were going to take a look at Reign of Terror for Call of Cthulhu. That I am not going to do. I am going to unbox and take a first look at the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound starter set. I think there's some people out there who are kind of curious about this starter set. I'm hoping it's as good as the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition starter set, which I thought was excellent from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. Everybody who watched live, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Thanks for taking some time out of your busy lives to hang out with this goofball. Of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch the stream live. However you watch, even if you're watching on Memorex, thank you very, very much for hanging out and checking out any of the videos. Of course, speaking of the videos, if you like this one, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Gaming Gang Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of the deluxe edition of In Magnificent Style from Worthington Publishing. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. As I mentioned last week, I have an appointment in the city tomorrow. Hoping I get back in time to do the show. I have everything set up. I got all the news. Everything's ready to go. I'm just making sure, I'm fingers crossed that I'm able to get back from downtown Chicago in time. I think I will. Always take a peek at Twitter. And if at 6 o'clock Central or thereabouts, you see a tweet saying, I'm live in 60 minutes with, the show's on time within a minute or two. All right, everybody out there, enjoy the rest of your Monday night, Tuesday morning, or whatever day this happens to be. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I certainly hope every one of you out there is being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching. And everybody, please wear a mask.